Relevancy, I feel like, is number one. They have to know that you're speaking to them. If you're talking about how chiropractic can help keep you healthy, they're like, they don't even see it, but when it's about low back pain, when it's about sciatica, when it's about headaches, when it's about breech pregnancy, when it's about what to do after an auto accident, like whatever you care about, you've got to share that. Like, some things are more broad topics than others, but you chose the type of practice you want to have. So it's your job to explain to your local audience why you're relevant and then deliver value around that topic. And you've got to be the expert. You have to come across as somebody who knows. You want at the end of the video for them to be like, I didn't know that.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis. Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo, and today I have with me a special guest, a remarkable CEO of multiple businesses, Dr. Nick Silveri. Hey, he is not a stranger to this podcast, and every episode that he joins us, we get great feedback from all of you listeners. So, hey, by the way, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a great listener to the show. We truly hope that this adds massive value to you and your business. And hey, if you like the show, please share with a colleague. Make sure you like it. We'd love to get a review if this is something that's been adding value to you. So please do that as well. We love the love. And if you can love on us, hey, we love that. And we'll definitely give you a shout out. But I want to give a shout out to my guest today, which is Dr. Nick Silveri, for taking the time. So Dr. Nick, thanks for taking the time out of your week to join me today in the studio.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, buddy.
So I know you are a numbers guy. You keep count of how many times you've been a guest on the podcast. Do you know, are we in double digits yet, or are we still below double digits?
I think we're getting close. I don't know the exact number, but I would guess that it's probably in double digits at this point. We do know that it's the all-time #1 guest, though. Numbers wise, like maybe not popularity, but numbers wise.
I think it might be both categories, as popular guests as well as numbers. But today we're gonna have a conversation about marketing. So I want to tee this up really well. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. Dr. Nick is an expert in our space. He's a chiropractor, right? He'll tell you that. He's gonna talk about it. He's got a practice. He's got a clinic. He's scaled it. He's done great things. He'll probably talk about that. He's also built a business inside of chiropractic, serve chiropractic inside of chiropractors and help them with their marketing. From the inside, though, as a chiropractor who's testing it and has tested it, and he's been ahead of the curve when it comes to teaching us about the importance of content. He was saying this since the first time I met him, and he's been on top of this from the beginning, and he's been leading the charge and helping chiropractors navigate, Dr. Nick, you might say, the ever-changing landscape of the digital marketing space and world. And you've just been on top of it from the beginning, always keeping us on the tip of the spear, which we love about you. But we're going to hit on 3 things today that Dr. Nick wants to talk about that I think is going to matter to you as a listener. So whether you are in the thick of running digital marketing and you spend tens of thousands a month to grow your empire, or you're new to the game, or you're just getting involved, or you aren't even involved at all, wherever you're at, everything that Dr. Nick's about to teach and share, and we're going to discuss, is going to be incredibly relevant and valuable for you. Number 1, we're going to talk about quality leads. The word always comes up, but Dr. Nick, I want you to unpack what that looks like, because the importance of quality matters. Mm-hmm. And here's the reality, and this is something I know you're going to unpack, is that you're going to talk about what Facebook ads don't do. Okay, because what Facebook ads don't do is they do not touch quality and qualification of leads. That's number 1. We're going to unpack that. Number 2, we're going to talk about content. but we're going to talk about a word called comprehensiveness. And we're going to unpack what does that look like for you and your business to be comprehensive in this. And then the third thing we're going to hit on is AI and why many of you want to use AI probably in the wrong way. And Dr. Nick's going to course correct all of you today, hopefully. So we're going to hit on that. We'll probably tell some stories as well. Like, for example, how Dr. Nick has 2 trophies from TRP for 2 7-figure club trophies. So if you guys didn't know that, Dr. Nick is a 2-time plaque holder. Look at that, 2 gears.
Side by side, right there.
If you're watching us on YouTube, that's 2 plaques for both of his business achieving the 7-figure mark. So, Dr. Nick, anything new that we should know about you and your family? Because I know you're just an awesome doc, amazing CEO. Help our audience get to know you a little bit. What you've been up to? What are you enjoying right now in this chapter of your journey?
Definitely my son. He's 2 years old tomorrow, and we've got our little girl is on the way. She could be here any day. Due date is probably what is it now? Probably 3 weeks away right now. So we are in the thick of it. We just had his birthday party this weekend up at our weekend house in Michigan. Get away from the craziness of Chicago on the touristy weekends, and it's just been a lot of fun. He's just got like a great personality, and it's a fun time. So I'm an old dad, so I'm experiencing all this for the first time.
Well, you're a great dad. I already know because we've chatted about that on and off over the last 2 years. It's hard to believe it's 2 years.
Uh,
And I remember the month leading up to that. So it's probably been 2.5 years we've been talking about this. You're an incredible father. One of the things I love about you as a dad is you're intentional. And that's what makes you a great marketer as well. Because marketing is all about being intentional and being strategic. And you've been that way as a father. So really happy for you and excited for number 2 to come along. And you will have your hands full. I'm just gonna say that from my side. Two is full.
for sure.
Full set of hands. So you're gonna test your youthfulness. You're gonna
That's
stay
right.
young. You are gonna stay young. But no, let's talk about, the marketing side of things. Whenever we have these podcasts as CEOs, this is one of the areas of 5 domains you're overseeing and being reported to you as a CEO. Is how is the attraction domain of your business functioning? So today we're going to get into digital marketing and dig in. And so there's 3 things I know you said we wanted to cover because these are the things that matter to the CEOs who you talk to on a weekly basis. Talk about what we want. What's the first thing you want to hit on today, Dr. Nick?
I think just the quality new patient side of it. That's probably the thing I hear the most. This year we made a concerted effort. Prior to this year, I really did all of my advertising dollars went towards content. It was me sharing value, pushing that out to chiropractors, trying to reach as many as possible, educating, jab, 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 right hook, like Gary Vee would say. And you know, it was fantastic, and we attracted a lot of great doctors that way. But this year we wanted to be more intentional with our direct lead generation, and I wanted to make it less personality based around me being the expert and more around like our system and our understanding of like what chiropractors are looking for and interested in when it comes to marketing. Because just like with chiropractic, we can want our patients to want something or care about something, but a lot of times they only care about the thing they care about. And, we've talked a lot about story brand on this podcast, and just like you and I together, story brand is all about clarifying your message and, keeping the focus on the hero and what they actually want. So, for leverage media, the successful chiropractor who, is wanting to upgrade their marketing is the hero for our story brand. And I wanted to really test out like what are the messages that they really care about. Not what I want them to care about, but what they really care about. And the number one thing that I found they really care about is how can we get more qualified new patients through the door. Everybody I talked to, it used to be 5 years ago, I was explaining to them why a digital marketing agency was important and what that meant and what Facebook ads were. But now everybody has been through 5 agencies, I would guess is probably around the average that I talk to. And they keep jumping from one to the next to the like one mousetrap to the next mousetrap. And the salespeople are good at selling the doctors on like, well, we're special because of XYZ. And like you said, I've been singing the same song since we started. Like, we started it as a content marketing agency that does lead generation. We are still a content marketing agency that does lead generation. The only thing that is going to create quality new patients through marketing is by leveraging your expertise, leveraging the platforms where they are looking for answers and spending their time. So right now, that's Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and now more and more the AI platforms like ChatGPT and so on. But all of them, regardless of what platform exists next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you creating valuable content is going to be the thing that they're hungry for, the thing that they want. That's what's going to get you shown in SEO, Google Maps, the feed, the AI, the language learning models. Like, everything is real, or the large learning models. Everything is being shown based off of who's the most relevant, who has the most value for whatever somebody is searching for or what content they're looking for. And we don't have the sexiest content in the world. Like, chiropractic content is like, unless you have these problems, like, why would you watch it? But for the people that have the problems, it's super valuable, it's super relevant. And it's our job to like put it in the places where they're spending their time, social media, put it in the places where they're looking for answers, SEO, AI, YouTube.
Good. Can you differentiate, just for the listeners, this is a good topic, relevance versus value? Because I think sometimes people can confuse that. Like
Mhm.
you said, like speaking to the listening of the person. Like,
Yeah,
you shared even your own like revelation in a sense where you said, you know what DCs really need and what they want is, how can I
yeah,
get more new patients in the door? Like,
right,
that's actually what I care about. I've tried XYZ. I've tried this many numbers of agencies, and you don't, I mean, you as a marketing don't have a problem with that. That's just part of the deal. That's part of the game. But what you're doing specifically in your agency with what you do is you want to find a place where doctors can land and be and work with you for an extended period of time, because you're able to keep what? Getting more new patients in the door. So
right,
can you just differentiate the value from your perspective? Because you've
yeah.
seen probably a lot of content, and relevance, and what's the difference there?
Well, in terms of like chiropractic content, relevance is going to be around the things they care about, which is normally body signals. Like, for a new patient, they have different wants and needs than an existing patient. So let's take somebody who has low back pain that is in your area. If they're like searching for a chiropractor, or they're like searching for a solution to their low back pain, they probably only care about low back pain. They probably don't care that much about the chiropractic lifestyle, right? So let's say you have the best low back pain content on your website or on social or however they find you. They then come in, you're great at what you do. Their low back pain, usually goes away in a couple of visits, a couple of weeks at most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's 2 weeks. They're low back pain free. They no longer care about low back pain. It is not relevant to them anymore because now they don't have low back pain. But now they're in your office. Now they're an existing patient. Now they're more open to the conversation of the chiropractic lifestyle, because the chiropractic lifestyle helps keep the low back pain away and the other ailments that nobody wants, right? So now it's like the relevancy has shifted to what you really want them to care about, which is like living a healthy lifestyle, and what they probably want care about as well. They just have, maybe been in the medical model or just didn't know anything, or like now they're there. They're like they, I think it was Franson that like talked about this analogy, which I always like, is too many times chiropractors are at the top of the steps, like screaming down at the patient with low back pain. You should care about lifetime family wellness instead of just walking down to the first step, meeting them where they're at, walking them up step by step into the lifetime family wellness that we all want our patients to care about. In terms of the value, like, you have to, okay, if you create a video on how chiropractic helps to eliminate low back pain, and it's a terrible video, you might like, it might be relevant to them, they might click on it, they might start watching. But then if you're just bad at it, if you're bad at delivering the message, there won't be as much value as if you're fantastic at delivering the message and you're coming across as an expert. So first you have to, like, relevancy, I feel like, is number one. They have to know that you're speaking to them. If you're talking about how chiropractic can help keep you healthy, they're like, they don't even see it, like,
Yeah.
but when it's about low back pain, when it's about sciatica, when it's about headaches, when it's about breech pregnancy, when it's about what to do after an auto accident, like whatever you care about, you've got to share that. Like, some things are more broad topics than others, but you chose the type of practice you want to have. So it's your job to explain to your local audience why you're relevant and then deliver value around that topic. And you've got to be the expert. You have to come across as somebody who knows. You want at the end of the video for them to be like, huh, I didn't know that. All of us have had that moment where they've seen the light bulb go off in someone, or go on in someone's eyes, when you explain it just the right way at the right moment. That's what you're trying to do with your content. It's not about like showing them the new shockwave unit. It's about explaining how the shockwave unit can eliminate their knee pain, because they only care about the knee pain. They do not care about shockwave or chiropractic or decompression or any of it. They just, like, all they care about is the solution. And one thing, just so I don't forget to say this, is that for a bunch of people in a profession that talk about their patients need to do health the right way, everybody wants this. Everyone wants a six-pack, right? Everybody wants to look great in a swimsuit, right? The patients want to take the shot, right? The chiropractor wants them to understand that that's not the right way to do it, that the right way to do it is to eat right, drink water, get sleep, think good thoughts, hit the gym, like do all the hard things to make these results last, right? But then they get on these calls with marketing agencies and they are like running to the shots. They want the six-pack of the marketing world, but they don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to eat the vegetables. They don't want to drink the water. They want the shortcut. And I've been saying since we launched this thing that the way to get the six-pack that you want with your marketing is to do stuff the right way. Now, some of those things will have an impact today, next week, next month, but some of them won't have an impact until next year or 3 years or 10 years. But it's like, if you're going to be in practice in 10 years and you're going to need a new patient to be a qualified new patient in 10 years, you might want to start doing the things now to best qualify those patients in 10 years and pick up all the people along the way.
It's really good. I love the analogy, actually, and I think most chiropractors are resonating with you right now, and just the difference between the health strategy to lose the weight and be in shape and have rock hard abs, and there's two paths, and there's the right, and then there's a fast, and then there's the actual lasting path. And so we teach that, obviously, like you said, when it comes to our patients. Why are we not having that same approach for our marketing? It's brilliant. And I know we talk about the whole idea of the person at the top of the stairs yelling to the bottom of the stairs, meeting a patient, meeting someone where they're at.
Yeah.
If you think about it in the sense of, let's just take the digital out and we're doing physical hand-to-hand combat, like old school external marketing.
Yeah.
And I'm out
like you and I
you and I are talking, and you're at an event and you happen to walk by my amazing booth and you're like, what is this? What do you guys got? And I start talking to you and you're like, oh man, I got these issues with my neck, man. It's been giving me so much trouble. I can barely turn, and affects. I was like, oh man, dude, that sucks, man. Does it affect your work at all? It's like, yeah, dude, it can't. Actually, my job, I gotta look over to the right all the time, and I can't do it, so I had to change this thing. And you're like, if I started talking about the lifestyle of the healthiest people and how you'd be like, did you not hear a word that I said? I was teeing you up perfectly for what you have to offer for me, and you missed me. I would have done a terrible job screening you right there, right? So we're saying, what you're saying is, hey, we've got to meet the person with relevance. Like, hey, what's their issue? What are they concerned about? It's this neck, man. I can barely turn it. It's bothering me. Every night. I can't sleep at night. I'm having to take stuff. I hate doing that. Not able to work out. Couldn't golf last week with my buddies. Boom. I got it. I heard what you said, and I'm speaking directly to that. Is this interfering with your life, right? You're saying, and then the value comes with the way that you're able to communicate that, with the look and feel of your brand, and
Yeah.
how you shared it and how you communicate it. You said something earlier today. It might have been on this call, it might have been before we or on this podcast, might have been right before, but you talked about removing yourself from the equation as well. Can you talk about that? Like in terms of scalability for a CEO who's
Yeah.
listening and says, yeah, but that just feels like, is that just more work for me, Dr. Nick? Can you
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah. So real quick, I before I move on, I did want to, before I forget this part, when we talk about offline marketing and online marketing, when I do websites with clients, one of the main goals that I tell them that we're trying to accomplish is to make sure that the online experience matches the offline experience. So if it does not represent who you are as a practice or as a practitioner, that you're missing it, because like people are just savvy now. They're expecting more and more, even out of local businesses, for what their online presence looks like. Not just their website, but their socials, their YouTube, that you're producing content, that you're adding value. But if they are on your website, it should really represent who you are, what you're all about. They should be able to get an idea of what the practice looks like, feels like. That's why I like make sure that our clients use their words. I'm not doing it for them. I'm not using AI. I'm not using a bunch of cookie cutter filler nonsense that no one cares about. I'm like, let's use your, I'm going to guide you through it, but it's got to be your words. So that's one thing that I think is super important, that if you've got a great offline experience, like in your practice, but you feel like your online experience does not match that, it's probably time to have a conversation. So we were talking about taking yourself out of it. I hear this a lot from doctors that have associates on like, well, how much should I be in the content? So when we were talking, I think it was before the podcast started, but when we were talking about all this testing that we've been doing, I purposefully did not want it to be like videos of me being the like charismatic center of leverage media. I wanted it to be about the message, about like what is hitting people right between the eyes, people that don't know me. Like all the TRP doctors know who I am. So sometimes the things, the messages I get from TRP doctors can be skewed because I've poured into this community for 10 years. I wanted to see like, what do strangers on the internet that are chiropractors care about, and what are they clicking on and resonating with, and setting up time to talk to me to find out more about like that message. So for the doctors that are out there that want that durability, I run a 7-figure practice and I haven't seen patients in over a decade, and I'm only there 1 day a month. The reason I'm able to do that is because of a great team, great systems, and great marketing that is not built around my personality. I'm the best content creator of the doctors that work for with me in the practice, right? But I'm not creating, especially now, like in the beginning, I created a lion's share of the content, but now I don't, because now I'm like more focused on content for leverage media. But the message is the same. The delivery, who is delivering the content doesn't really matter if you've got the message. Obviously, you want whoever creates the best content to create the most content. But, you know, like a lot of these young doctors grew up in a world that you and I didn't grow up in. I didn't grow up creating my when I was in chiropractic school, like when I was in outpatient clinic and like tried 10 was when I got my first MySpace page. So like I didn't grow up with, you know, like Gen X is the best gen, because we like grew up in the 80s without, you know, phones and distractions, and we just got to be crazy. And then we got all the benefits of technology when we got older. But these kids these kids that are graduating now that are 22 years old, they're graduating having grown up creating content for their own life. So they might be better at creating content than you are.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you give them a permission structure and point them in the right direction, you know, it can really start to take a lot of weight off of you, you know, if you have help. And then if you don't have help, if it's just you, which a lot of our doctors are single doctor offices, you know, leverage media is a great solution because I've already done all the thinking and the strategy for you, and my team does all the technical optimization for you. So steps 1 and 3 are handled for you. All you got to do is hit record, follow the plan, turn it in.
It's good.
Yeah.
I love it that you have, you're able to scale the content creation at this stage in the game, and you guys have figured out how to do it and do it successfully. So I love that. And that should hopefully be encouragement to everybody who's listening, whether you're the only doctor in the office or you have multiple doctors in your office. If you have multiple doctors, this should be part of the ENA when it comes to what you can expect in terms of your role inside of this practice or practices.
Sure.
That, to be a contributor in that way is awesome. Number two thing I know we wanted to hit on was comprehensiveness. We talked about how important it is to be comprehensive in your approach.
Yeah.
And that's, again, something you've also continued to preach and teach. But you want to unpack that. What does that look like in 2025 right now? And this is what doctors are interested in.
Yeah. So that was another, like, that quality of new patients was by far and away number one of like what doctors were like hungriest for. But the thing that gets them on the call with me is that we're just different than almost all agencies that are out there for chiropractors in that we take this very comprehensive approach, this content first approach. Most of them have gone through the 30 guaranteed new patients. We have the magic Facebook ad. They've done all the like one-off tactics, and they might work for a little while and then they don't work anymore. We've got an ad out right now that's kind of on that Coldplay Kiss Cam idea, where it like shows like the 3 steps in the process where it's like they're smiling, having a great time. They realize they're on Kiss Cam, and then they're like ducking and like diving away from the camera. And the first one where they're smiling and happy is like the Facebook agency that convinces you that they've got the magic Facebook trick. And then the second one is like 10 days later. The third one is 30 days later. And it's just like funny because that is every time I get on one of these calls, they come in real guarded because they're just expecting like the same pitch. And then we spend 50 of the 60 minutes just like talking about their stuff, talking about what their challenges are. So the comprehensive nature is what gets a lot of people onto the call. And then that's why they usually choose us, is because they believe that we take a very comprehensive approach and that will lead to qualified new patients. They don't, just like patients don't care about chiropractic or shockwave or decompression, or they don't care about the vehicle to get there. They just care about the destination and the result. So they ultimately only care about the quality of new patients, but they believe that the comprehensive approach that I have always preached is the right way to do it. So in 2025, a comprehensive approach looks like creating content on social media where people are at, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Most people have like a favorite platform that they're on. They might be on multiple platforms, but they may spend 90% of their time on one or the other, right? So having your content out there, getting in front of people that live in your area, because we're not trying to be a national influencer. We're just trying to dominate our local market. We're just trying to be top of mind for these people. The reason why all these PI attorneys spend so much money on billboards and catchy radio and, the sides of buses is because they know that they got to be top of mind when somebody gets into the accident. And it's your job to be top of mind and the expert when somebody has the problems that you want to solve, right? But then when they go to search, like, let's say somebody's been watching, maybe not even like consuming the content, they've just seen it in their feed for the last 3 years. They've seen you, your handsome face, you being helpful, not an ad, just like how chiropractic can help with this, and 3 things you should do if you've got headaches, and 3 foods to avoid if you've got gut issues, or whatever you talk about, right? You're sharing all that on social media, and people just can't help but see it. They can't help but see your face. They can't help but see your name, your logo, and the fact that you're being helpful, because all your competition is just running the $27, the 21, the 47 for whatever the sales pitch is, right? And everybody is onto that. They know that the coupon is for the sales pitch, right? What they're interested in is value, but they might not always be ready for it, right? So 3 years, they've seen 50 of your videos. They haven't watched any of them. They've just seen that they exist. And then they decide to go and type in chiropractor near me. And let's say instead of showing up in the first position, you show up in the second position. Well, 80% of the clicks happen to whoever shows up in the first position, except if the second position has more brand than the first position. If you're in the commodity conversation, where you're no different than any other chiropractor in town, then it will be based on whoever has the most reviews or whoever's closest to work or whatever. But if you've built even a little bit of brand, just a little bit of awareness that they've heard of ABC Chiropractic, and there you are in second place, they're like, oh, I've heard, I see his videos all the time. And they click on it and they skip over the one that they haven't heard of, that may be spending more money than you. But when you build brand, that's like the ultimate trump card, where it's like you can spend all the money in the world, but if you're a soda company, you can spend all the money in the world, but you're never going to beat Coke because they've got brand loyalty, right? So it's the same way with you in your local market. You've got to show up where they're spending their time, and you've got to show up where there is attention, or there is intention, meaning they're going to look for something. And in both places, again, right now that's Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube mainly. It's quickly starting to add in AI. But no matter what it is, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the content is what matters. The content is what makes a human being decide on one thing or another. The platforms will show you, like the algorithm might show you more if you're creating more value. Your SEO might be better if you create more value, but that's just to get the click or the impression. Once they're there, once the human being is on your sciatica page, it's up to you to convince them that your approach to sciatica is the right approach. And the only way you can do that is through content, written in video, all day, every day. Like, it's just like so simple. And when they see you, when they do their research, which they do, they might start with a Google search, they might start on YouTube, they might start on Facebook, but eventually they're going to, like, I think they narrow it down to maybe 3 offices, and then they look at the stuff that matters to them. If I consume Instagram more, I'll probably go to Instagram to like look at the 3 offices. If I think YouTube is a great place for information, that might be where I go. And the more that online experience can match your offline experience, and it can be cohesive and comprehensive across the platforms, the more, I mean, it just makes sense to a human being. Like, when you listen to it, think about who you do business with. Every time I get on one of these calls, I'm like, do you make your personal family healthcare decisions based off of random coupons that pop up in your Facebook feed? 100% of people say no. And then I'm like, but that's what you're doing. That's what you're thinking is going to like double your practice with the best patients you've ever dreamed of. And it's just like not how humans work. It's like, do the things that humans care about, which is like, put some effort in, share your expertise, stop running a speakeasy. Don't make it to where they have to know someone to get into your practice. Like, democratize the information. We get paid on the doing of the thing. I'm on here democratizing information about create more content. I get paid for doing the thing to help you do it easily. What I'm saying is not like, all of you know who Alex Hormozi is, and Gary Vee is, and Stephen Franson and Pete Camiolo. You guys know who these people are that are just freely sharing how to like share your expertise. But sometimes you just need help doing it. So I'm here to like help you do it. And I also like try to educate as well, because some people like just, they're new to it. They might not know who Alex Hormozi is or Pete Camiolo is. But it's like, it's up to us. It's up to me to like explain to chiropractors that you've got to get beyond the like first grade version of marketing, which is running the coupon on Facebook and like calling it a day.
It's good. All I had to do was poke you, and you were off to the races. So
That's right.
that was awesome. You just put on a class right there. Nice, really good. I want to hit the third thing, and we can make this our final thing, because I know, as someone myself who's using AI, I've been playing around with it. I'm sure everybody that's listening to this is in some way, in shape, or form.
Yeah.
But you're saying that many chiropractors are probably using AI, and they're thinking about AI the wrong way when it comes to their marketing. Can you talk about that? Because that is as relevant as a topic as there could be. Talk about relevance.
Yeah.
You always add value. So I'm just gonna give you a nudge and say, when you say that we're probably using it the wrong way or thinking about it the wrong way, what does that mean?
The the like practicing chiropractor does not have a lot of time, especially for marketing. Like marketing is always like very, unless you enjoy marketing, like just personally, marketing is almost always like very far down the list of things that they want to do, especially around content, especially around writing content, right? So AI comes along, ChatGPT comes along, and everybody's like, holy shit, like I can just like type in a sentence and get a 1,500 word blog post that I would never write on my own. It's like, yes, you can. If you think that that is then going to go on your website and is going to rank you number one for all the things that you care about, and you can just do that 1,000 times, Google is onto it. Like they know it. Like like using AI, like we filter all the content that comes in from clients with our AI detector. And if it's past a certain percentage, like it's their business, so they can like make the ultimate decision. But we basically try to like kick it back to them to be like, listen, you've got to like you have to do it yourself because you're gonna do all this hard work and all this video content and the written content, and then it's just not going to work. It might work for the short term, but AI or Google is just like shutting down more and more and more pages that are ranking with every algorithm update. Like I'm in all of these like SEO groups and Facebook groups and like all these like marketing groups that chiropractors probably are not a part of, and they're doing like big national brands, but they'll be like, oh, climbing traffic, and then off a cliff because an algorithm update just wipes them out. So you want to build you want to do the nice part about especially like websites and SEO is you really only got to do the work one time and then you can move on to the next topic. But it's like when you're doing the work, it's for SEO, for Google specifically, you should be doing it through your human brain. You might be able to use ChatGPT or any of these other tools to help you brainstorm, to come up with some outlines, but the finished product has to go through a human brain if you want this to stand the test of time. Where that's where I see most people being like, "Oh wow, this is amazing that this is working out the way that I thought it would." And again, it may work for a little while, but in the long term, you're building a foundation on sand when you're using it for SEO. What I think you should be using it for is great video titles, bullet points for those video titles, getting anything that is not like search, it's not for search engines. So like writing email sequences, setting those up because like writing things is usually like the hardest things for chiropractors. And written word is what a lot of people consume. Like everybody is like very fascinated with video, but that's mainly because the platforms want more video. But like when somebody opens up an email to be able to just like quickly scan what it is that you're talking about, that is where building a chat GPT in your voice to be able to really speak the way that you speak about the topics that you care about, that is where it's super powerful, where it's like creating good text messages, reactivation campaigns, any kind of email sequence around any specific like if somebody has low back pain and they don't like follow up, they don't schedule the appointment, how can we set that nurture sequence up? That's where you can do that 1,000 times. So just keeping the focus more on how can I serve my existing patient base or how can I nurture leads, I think is probably like the best way a practicing chiropractor could use it. Anything that is search related is either going to be unhelpful or it could like really bite you in the ass down the road and could hurt the rest of the website that may be, human written.
It's really good. Huge insights here. So this is the Remarkable CEO podcast. I'm today have Dr. Nick Silveria, a remarkable CEO, with us. Dr. Nick, you've just been giving us so much gold. So again, thank you for being a part of the Remarkable Practice family. Like you said, it's been 10 years. You've been just continuing to show up, add value, serve and support. You've helped so many of the doctors who we serve inside of our organization, obviously many who are not. And obviously now everybody who's listening to you on the podcast gets to know you. If you didn't know who Dr. Nick was before, check him out. Leverage Media. These guys are awesome. They're serving chiropractic and chiropractors. And we've seen Dr. Nick and seen the work that you do. And you help so many doctors and you're helping us help our people, which guys, remember, what's the purpose of marketing? Marketing is messaging, and you're the messenger. And what Dr. Nick and what he does is he helps you in your function to be a better messenger. When you do that better and you do that in a more relevant way and you do that in a more value-driven way, it's going to drive the outcomes that you desire because you're driving the outcomes that other people desire. Thanks for tuning in to the CEO podcast. And Dr. Nick, thanks again for joining me here today. Until we meet again, Nick, and for all of you who are listening in, take care and have a blessed rest of your day.
Hey, Remarkables, let me ask you, can you imagine generating more than 600 qualified new patient leads per month? How about seeing 183 new patients in 1 month? Imagine your practice generating more than $100,000 a week in collections, on track to doing over $5 million this year. Sound impossible? Well, those are the real results that TRP's own Dr. Bobby Ilyajozovic is enjoying as we speak. Those are his July numbers, and August is going to be even better. Coach Bobby has been a new patient generation machine for nearly 10 years. I know because I've been coaching him since day one, but now he is going totally bionic. He has cracked the code on new patient generation, and he is ready to share it all with you guys. Do you want to get in on this? Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 10th and 11th in Phoenix, Arizona, and October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Coach Bobby will be walking you and your team through every step of his remarkable lead machine system. Click the link in the show notes below and register your team now. But Dr. Bobby's sessions are only one of the reasons that you and your team need to be at the Remarkable Attraction Immersion. Let me ask you, have you started using AI to drive new patients into your practice yet? There's a new era in marketing that's powered by AI, and it's creating a surge of new patients for docs that know how to leverage it. Don't miss this wave. Our team of experts will show you exactly how the most successful marketers are using AI to generate record numbers of new patient leads in internal marketing, external marketing, and of course, digital marketing. Have you developed a fully leveraged marketing machine where you'll have total confidence that you'll predictably smash your goals month after month after month? Stop leaving tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table due to lackluster internal new patient referrals. Stop wasting time and spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to get butts in seats for your outside speaking events. Stop throwing good money after bad on digital marketing. That's just not working. Doc, you should be seeing a 5 times to 10 times ROI on your marketing dollars. Our clients are crushing this. This weekend seminar will feature a 3-track format focusing on optimizing your internal, external, and digital lead generation. 9 breakout sessions in total, with a special emphasis on best practices leveraging AI for all of them. Bring your team. Everyone in your practice is a marketer. Let us inspire and equip them to help you fill your schedule book with more qualified new patients. Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 10th and 11th in Phoenix, Arizona, and October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Click the link in the show notes here or go to the remarkablepractice.com events page and register your team today.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy.
Hi, everyone. We have the very special guest today, Dr. David Fletcher from CLA, an amazing man, a good friend of TRP, a good friend of mine. So, David, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Malcolm, it's going to be in the most interesting 10 minutes of anybody's life here because they get to listen to what we usually talk about. But anyhow, it's wonderful to be invited and to be a part of the TRP family. We relish every moment at CLA that we get a chance to, interact more closely with TRP clients. And I think the real reason is that when we take a look at the values that drive both of our companies, there's really no separation at all. We finish each other's sentences, so it's a wonderful experience.
That is for sure. You've been personally. I've used CLA your services since 2000, so 25 years. I've been a CLA client, integral part of my practice. A lot of the listeners, most people would be aware of CLA, but what I really want to know, and I know what our listeners want to know, is what are the problems you actually solve for a practice?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we focus on and really use as a solution for everyone, it's not even a style of practice, it's for everyone, is what we could determine or call the critical shift. Is that there's this moment in a chiropractor's experience and a patient's experience of where you have to take it beyond what their expectations are in the delivery of your care. We know that the vast majority of people entering into a chiropractic office aren't coming in and saying, arouse my innate. What they are saying, what they are saying is, I have a problem, and so we need to convert those people to hear our story. And one of the things that matters, and what chiropractic has always been about, is looking deeper into the nervous system. Right from the very start of the origins of our profession, we talked about the tone of the nervous system. And so scanning really opened that door. It didn't dismiss X-ray, it didn't dismiss orthoneuro or anything like that. It just said, what if we could look into the functioning nervous system? What if we could track that, and then we could solve the problem of developing responsible care plans, communicating to our patients the positivity of what it is? And really, it comes down to attraction, retention, and conversion, which is why I said we are TRPites when it comes to that.
So let's get specific here. And I know that CLA helps in all areas of practice through attraction, conversion, retention. So how specifically does it solve people's problems if they're having attraction problems? How does CLA solve that particular problem?
I think it usually begins with somebody, a parent or an adult, coming in to have the first visit, and it's going to be pain-based. It's going to be, I have a problem, because we haven't oriented them otherwise. And they start to realize that you as an examiner, you as a team, have the ability to really listen to them, but take the whole examination and reporting process deeper than what they thought. And so you set the stage for them to hear the story that you want them to hear, which is about, when it all comes down to it, the problem we really all face is conversion to a lifetime wellness patient. Let's just say that. We know that that's a dream, but we also know that it's a reality. I could look at your practice and I would see that the retention that leads to that, not everybody stays for a lifetime. You and I did. We became chiropractors. But the reality is that it opens doors, and it's an invitational model. So that's the number one thing. It brings highly visual. Well, you taught me this, is that it makes the invisible visible. Yeah. It allows the patient to have a clear understanding of what you are directing your attention to, and it vividly displays it in color and in scores and in trackable metrics.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the benefits, and we know that 70% of the population are primary visual. So that when they can actually see on a screen, on an iPad, or whichever way you deliver the reports, which the amazing inroads that CLA has had over the last, I don't know how many years it is, going from very wired machine to these wireless machines, and now to the iPads, and the reporting is just amazing. So when they can see it, when they can see how their nervous system is functioning, how does that, I mean, I know that it improves retention, hands down, the conversion process. So how does it specifically solve the problems of conversion retention?
Well, conversion and retention is really easy, because now you're not using plan, can, ham care planning. You're using the exact data that is presented to you in terms of a three-dimensional neurofunctional exam. We're looking at heart rate variability to get a global picture of what their stress and adaptability are. We're looking at their postural energy expenditure using EMG, and we're looking how deep it's going with their thermography. We build a complete model, or a report card, really is how we describe it, a report card called the Core Score, that allows the patient and the doctor to have a trackable and identifiable goal. And yes. I mean, who doesn't want a goal? And so we allow the patients to get on this journey of saying, first we have to release the tension, then we start to build new strategies. And instead of it taking a day or two or a week or so to feel better, we have a plan that we can put in place with it that originates with their initial problem, but can take them several months down the way, and as we know, several years down the way. Yeah. That's the retention conversion. You did ask about attraction, and I didn't really finish that because I got off on a usual
on a tangent.
But almost immediately, this is one of the most interesting things we see, and I know you can comment to this, is that we see the immediacy of family members coming in. Almost immediately, when a parent is scanned or a grandparent is scanned, they are so enthusiastic about wondering what a well child checkup looks like. remember, we're not into the pathology business, we're into the possibility business. And so when a parent sees that they'd like to have a child scan, I mean, how else are you going to examine a child's nervous system unless you're scanning them? And so they want a baseline. They want to know that before their child gets sick or before performance becomes an issue, that they have a baseline in place with you.
Yeah. And it's that baseline. I know personally in my practice, and as I said, been using for 25 years, what I realized is that the people that I thought were getting better, as in their symptoms were getting better, when I scanned them, I realized, yes, their symptoms are better, but their nervous system is improving, but it's got a long way to go. And that's the retention thing you're talking about. So I found that my retention jumped massively when I started using CLA all those years ago. And it is an integral part of my practice.
And, you know, it takes a lot of stress off of the clinician, off the chiropractor, because first off, you're building the conversations not on what is good for what they might perceive as the practice, but is really good for them. And, you know, one of the things that we know is that they need chiropractic care at a certain level. We know that, and we can track that. But there comes a time when they now can move away from needing it, like intentionally needing it, to where they can choose to be inviting themselves into it.
Correct.
And, you know, when we take a look at these emerged practices like yours, and I mean, we have thousands of offices around the world, so we know exactly what we're doing here. We see practices that were the average practice of the people we're talking to is what we would refer to as a 20-80 split. 20% of, pardon me, an 80-20 split. 80% of the early starts and the practice volume in a symptom-based practice is indeed short-term symptom-based. But we see the flip happening, that only 20% of people in a practice, of a mature practice that has built scanning and built the idea of retention into it, actually are just learning to become part of the 80%. In other words, that there's this natural progression from needs being met to being invited into this long-term better strategy called vitalism.
Yeah. And this is, yes, we talk conversion, and a lot of time, effort, energy is put into that conversion process, the initial one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so your day one, your day two process there. Then when you're looking at re-exams and doing this, and you mentioned goals before. I remember one of our patients in their practice, their actual goal was to improve their core score. And that was their goal. They said it. They said, I want my heart rate variability to be this number. That was their goal. So as far as re-examinations and that continuing process over time, how does it really assist people to give them a pathway beyond that?
Well, we instituted something that I glamorously refer to as a rule of 12. And basically it says that when we're building care plans, it's our responsibility to report back to the patient at least every 12 visits. Mm-hmm. And so every 12 visits, we set in a cycle where an examination must go. And let's just say that the patient's down to every couple of weeks or whatever. We never go beyond a 3-month window. In other words, that's the standard that we believe, looking at the neurofunctional changes that, you know, both positive and negative that occur. We want the clinicians, we want the team to be constantly reviewing the why behind the patient's attendance in your practice. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that there's this fear-based model. It's an inspiring model to say just what you said. Look, I've really come a long way, but I can see there's way more that I could achieve. Yes. And that's very powerful.
Yeah. And then the ones you have who may be on maintenance care, whatever that is, and then they see their next scan and they see that it's actually, it's not maintaining, it's actually deteriorating. And then it's very motivating for them to get back under corrective care or more wellness care. So I know it's such a good tool. I know, I think all the coaches in TRP use it. So if it works for us, it works for anyone, right? So
it does. And you know, it's so interesting because you can take away a lot of that anxiety as being, you know, we all had it when we were early on in practice and otherwise, and we didn't know exactly how we were going to communicate the needs of a patient and what we could provide. And this just gives you a starting point, but a continuation. You don't have to make it up. Meaning, and I'm not suggesting we do, like that'd be fallacious, but the reality is that you've got the tools right now to say, I understand now why you keep getting an immune response that isn't working the way it should. I understand now why, you know, your body doesn't heal completely after you've had an episode. It's because there's this chronic nerve tension. We have a plan. We know how to release it. We know how to rebuild it. We know how to get you revitalized. So stick with us. We've got a plan. And they hear that. They know it.
They know it. Yes. One of the big upgrades that you've made, as well as going to iPad versions with bridges and so forth, is you are a brilliant communicator. Everyone knows this, but you have so the ability to communicate the scans is what's really needed, isn't it? So that's all part of the package, if you like, is how do you explain these?
Well, it was so exciting because it was so funny because in the early days, I started in 97, so I know exactly where we were going with it. You'd get this colorful piece of paper and you'd hand it to the patient and kind of go, you've got, some issues I got to deal with here. And there was this, they talk about this concept called MIGO, is there my eyes glaze over. And the patient go, I get you really are excited about this, but what does it really mean?
What does it mean?
And so best intentions, right? But when we rebuilt the new software, which is called Synapse, and we said, we in our dream bucket, we said, let's build it to however it was. I was able to build a continuation plan through the core score communication. And so it actually is designed, it has a huge library behind it that looks at all the different iterations of the scores. And it literally cherry picks out a conversation based upon the data that you are observing on the scan. So basically, it allows me to be communicating the results to your patients. And it's really fun to do that. So it builds an individualized report that compares the data from previous exams and then builds a very understandable communication. And then after that, we said, well, nobody understands you anyways, David. So why don't we let educators do the real thing? And so they took that and built it into a very, very condensed but educated model. It's really quite something.
It is. It's very simple. And there's just an enormous amount of resources available to people so that they can communicate the scans, because that's part of the Hawthorne effect. You do need to communicate in a way that they understand, which it's really good at that. Okay. I mean, I know we can talk for hours, but how do people, what's their next step? They're thinking of scanning. They know this is a missing piece. They want to build more retention or attraction or conversion or whatever they want to do. What's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Certainly, we're a wide open book, but one of the things that they have in this resource is they have you, meaning they have TRP and they have their coaches. So have a conversation initially with your coach, and they're going to direct you towards us anyways. But to bypass the coaches, I'm joking when I say that, but to get directly to us, it's so easy. It's called insightcla.com. And I want to share with anybody who's in here that there's an automatic TRP discount when you start to get involved with TRP and CLA. We're very generous because we love you guys. And so we have there aren't very many, but we have a preferred alliance relationship. And so anybody who comes and decides that it's time for them to either upgrade or to purchase new, they can be assured that they're going to be getting by far the very best deal that is available on the planet. Which I'm very proud to say. We also offer 0% financing for a 12-month window of time, which I think is exceedingly generous.
It is.
But we love that. And any way that we can get more people scanning and more people engaged in the community of TRP and CLA, we're 100% behind that.
Absolutely. So I know that you are the TRP clients who are in North America or come to the North American immersions. You'll find David there. You can see it there as well. But get in contact with CLA, and just do yourself a favor. Basically, this is an integral part of many TRP practices. You're probably in the minority if you're not. So get into it, I reckon. Please, so good to see you on Zoom here. Can't wait to see you in person again very soon.
I think we're probably the only partner of the North American crew that actually does the connection with the Australian crew. And there's a real reason for that, is that we have such a passion play with New Zealanders and Australians. We've always had such a relationship down there. For the last 2 years, the weirdest thing is that my calendar has been conflicted on the TRP Australia dates. We're both busy, but mine just hasn't meshed. But I promise, and I mean this in the greatest time, I promise to come and participate down in Australia.
Nice.
So I can't wait.
I can't wait. Well, we'll see you soon. And as I said, get in contact with CLA and get scanning.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors.